Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Magic Mike's, proudly sponsored by our Patreon supporters and CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, and our co-sponsor Cardhoarder.com, offer the best inventory prices and delivery of cards for Magic Online. I'm Evan Irwin, and we get started each week by saying hello to my two co-hosts, Aaron Campbell,
Das Vidanya, y'all.
Ruben Bressler.
I just noticed, is that a Britney
Che
shirt?
Yes, this is in honor of Comrade Brittany, who we all who we all know and love. You better work, and I'm working. So
wow. It's Brittany, comrades. Yeah.
My God, we also get started with a trumpet blast. You can get one if you support us at our highest level on Patreon. We don't have one this week. Do note that the giveaways are still a little truncated. They'll be done at 45 minutes after. So if you want to get on that, exclamation mark raffle, get you in on that. Get $50 gift certificate to CoolStuffInc.com. You get two chances to win, double the chances if you
subscribe first, then enter if you're going to subscribe.
Right. That would be great. And you can do so with Bezos Bucks, of course, and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
All right. So we've been gone for a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Things have been happening. There was this new set that came out that we got to play with last week that was an absolute blast. Ikoria has been doing incredible things. Whether you think those are negative or positive, you certainly know that it has done incredible stuff.
Powerful magic is what it's doing.
This is some of the funnest limited I've played since Dominaria. It is an absolute blast. Everything is crazy powerful. You are like we are with rocket launchers at the gunfight. Like it's just things are blowing up everywhere. You're making huge crazy monsters. The removal is great. The threats are great. I swear to God, it feels like a cube draft. Everything's good.
It does. Everything. It feels like a cube draft. It feels as good. Now, I don't want to say it's as good as Dominaria because every game of Dominaria felt amazing. Like every deck felt amazing. And there are some train wrecks in Ikoria. Nothing really felt like a train wreck in Dominaria.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like every common could deal with every mythic in Dominaria.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't feel unbalanced. It didn't feel awful to get your mythic killed by a common because you also had those commons that could kill their myth. Like it's very, very, very good. And it also doesn't have the seriousness. It doesn't take itself seriously at all.
Right.
Like not just because you have these Godzilla card frames, although that helps when you have Destroya and Mothra's Great Cocoon in your opening pack. But it also just feels you're playing battle cruiser magic. You're cycling 8/8s for 8 mana and putting keyword ability counters on creatures feels better than I thought it would. There's some really interesting things happening in Ikoria, and it doesn't take itself seriously, which I really appreciate.
And the timing on that couldn't be better. I remember when Unstable came out and we were in the thick of Magic Gate. And so, it was a perfect time to have a really fun, goofy set come around when everybody was sort of, depressed and at their wits' end. And, here we are, in the middle of this pandemic. And yes, we could go to another world and watch it get destroyed like Amonkhet, or, you could have this set with lots of really cute animals and, what appears to be not too dark of a storyline, really great trailer. And, this
There's
is just
also
the palette
no
cleanser we need right now.
Like, I love this set. I have no idea what the Ikoria storyline is.
Yeah,
and I couldn't care less.
I mean, I really think it's just as simple as like the humans versus the beasts, and some humans have a more civilized way of dealing with the beasts. Others are a lot more brutal, and so it's just a matter of kind of dealing with that brutality. And then you have the humans that get along with the beasts, and so it just doesn't seem that depressing.
Right. And it doesn't seem like there's one, like I don't have to know who a character, I don't need to know who Luca Coppercoat Outcast is to like understand the set.
Yeah.
Right? I just get that there's Nightmare Squirrels, and I get that there's spells with trample, and I get that there's keyword counters, and like I get the gist of it. It feels more like a campaign setting of D&D rather than a story.
Well, the actual story is good. From the people who've read the new book, they've said very good things about it, and that it's very much a return to form to Magic Story.
Nice, that's great. I mean,
Good.
Ikoria also on the limited side, I think, is an absolute home run, and this
Absolutely.
includes companions. Companions in limited are interesting, neat.
Yeah.
I have beat plenty of companions.
Sure.
Like, yeah, you're getting the Jaruga on turn 5 or whatever, but I've got this, Essence Scatter that's waiting on it, and it just runs right into it. So it's
limited companions are interesting. Giganta's a bit of a problem. Karuga is a bit of a problem, but in general they're fine.
Right.
And you're like really, and Lutri is a little bit of a problem. Although today I had a Lutri deck, and let me tell you, Lutriing a Cathartic Reunion to draw 6 cards. Oof. Oh boy.
Gracious.
But yeah, look, I mean, not being able to play your powerful 2-drop humans in your, Cats and Nightmares and Elementals deck or whatever.
Right.
There is an actual trade-off in limited.
Right. There's actual play in that. We're in this weird period where I feel like, before the set came out, it was, oh no, companions are going to be a problem, right? Companions show up, the world ends, like everyone's losing their mind over how easy it is to include them and what it's doing to this deck and what it's doing to that deck. And now we're about a week or so out from the set being released in digital formats, and you can see that companions are good. But are they the worst
decks
thing
with
ever?
Companions in them came in 1st and 2nd place in the Vintage Challenge list last weekend.
Yeah.
1st through 4th in the Legacy Challenge all had Companions. The entire top 8 of the Modern Challenge all had Companions. The Pioneer Challenge 1st through 4th were Companion decks. And then 6 of the 8 slots in the top 8 of the Standard Challenge all had Companions as well. Garuda being sort of broken. This exposed a lot of bugs on Magic Online. Garuda having issues with Leyline of the Void not interacting properly, because Garuda can still reanimate something. Leyline of the Void doesn't stop it. And on Magic Online, it was still doing that. There's still an issue with Luris, specifically when it comes to X spells. The way that Luris is worded, and a couple of judges have chimed in on this, is that it shouldn't let you cast X spells for more than 2. And that's not the case at all. People are casting Stonecoil Serpents and Walking Ballistas for way more than 2. I don't know if that's been addressed yet, but I mean, just the impact of these cards has been immediate and just unmistakable. And you really have kind of 2 sides, the people that are trying to break the companions, and then sort of the resistance that's like, we have to fight these things, and it'll be interesting to see who wins.
Yeah, I've come to a weird kind of equilibrium at this point of recognizing that they're probably busted for older formats. Certainly, like Vintage just feels like,
I mean, good heavens,
it's ridiculous what you're doing to that format.
Oh, even Modern, Luris Burn is a thing now.
Right, they're putting they're putting Mishra's Baubles or something in their burn decks or whatever.
Baubles spiked again.
Yep. So Luris with Mishra's Bauble should probably just go in every deck, like 4 Stoneforge and 1 Batterskull just went in every deck.
Right, and Wizards has always been very clear that they don't design for older formats, except that one time when they made Modern Horizons or whatever. And you know what that did?
Sure.
And you could argue they didn't really test that either.
Wow.
Kind of crazy. But either way, we have Ikoria doing great, and I lost my train of thought. So let's move on here to something else. I totally did. I'm sorry. Either way. Ikoria, so let's talk a little bit about the sales side of things, right? From Cool Stuff Inc. side, I can tell you from a sales perspective, we're talking about Companion, that sales have been absolutely amazing for Ikoria. Wow. Like, this is not slowed down. Like, if the stores were open, because the stores can't be open right now,
right?
If the stores were open, we would be at like Dominaria, War of the Spark level sales. Wow. Theros wasn't great. Theros wasn't great. Just really not good. Collector boxes in particular were just like huge stinkers for Theros. It was really bad. It is the opposite, literal opposite for Ikoria. The Godzilla cards are super popular. They're almost twice as expensive as their counterparts. And these exclusive Japanese cards will actually get harder to find.
The comic book promo ones,
no, actually, it's the Japanese exclusive ones. The Japanese exclusive, the Mothra's, Great Cocoon and all that stuff.
Oh, those the ones that are on Magic Online.
Yes, the ones that are on Arena.
Ah,
yes, the Japanese exclusive, the 3 exclusives, Mecha Godzilla and the Dirge Bat and the Mega Cocoon, won't be in collector boosters in English and French, which is what was expected. And instead, since the mistake was only discovered recently, they weren't able to reprint the product with the affected cards. Instead, they're printing and distributing copies of the cards to stores in the near future to make up for the error. So now stores can get some number of these to give away to people who have ordered collector boosters or collector booster boxes, or however they want to slice and dice them. So that was super interesting. Yeah, it was a sort of very uncommon to see Wizards just straight up be like, yeah, we just kind of screwed this up, and we will strive to do better, and we're sorry. And that's kind of the long and short of it. So, okay. That's a thing. But yeah, let's see here. So we talked a little bit about Companion. I think Companion ultimately, to put a bow on that, I think Companion ultimately is actually okay for Standard. I think it's good.
I mean, say
powerful.
What you will about them. I mean, it's a brewer's paradise right now. You know, all of the Discord channels that I belong to have just lit up over the last week or so. That channels that were kind of stagnant before, or there wasn't really a lot happening. You know, the brewers are going crazy. They're having a good time. Everyone's trying to do something with these cards or fight them. The collaboration that I'm seeing, all of the deck lists that I'm seeing, the images that I'm seeing.
Right.
I think for now, this is a good thing. I think it's too early to make any calls like a banning or... I do think it's interesting when it comes to Vintage, because Vintage is more of a restricted format, but these cards are already one of, and Maro did confirm that if they have to, they can ban a card in Vintage. So I'm anxious to see how this all plays out. I do think it's fine for now. I think if we get to, you know, kind of Hogak territory where people are main decking ley lines, we have a problem. But for now, it's fine. You know, I'm enjoying seeing what's happening around me, and I hope people, you know, keep brewing and keep fighting. I
am still concerned. I am not going to back off my claim that I think that Companion is top 3 with Dredge and Storm most broken abilities of all time.
Wow.
I still think that.
Wow.
I mean, 2 of them have already been banned. I think that I said 8. I think 8 is a high number. I would say at least half. I would say 5 or 6 will be banned in a format of one kind or another eventually. Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Pie bet.
No.
Big pie bets. Look, all I know is that
nowadays, like
look, all I know is that yes, Companion is good, and yes, Companion is powerful, and it's doing weird things to old formats, but quite frankly, a lot of new designs do a bunch of weird stuff.
And it's way more fun. Yeah. This is also way more fun of the broken things. Yeah. Oko came out and everyone was immediately miserable because everything was Oko.
Right.
Now everything's everything. A lot of it is Companion, but at least it's fun, right? Yeah. It's ubiquitous, but people are having a grand old time with it.
I just think it needs more time. You know, I definitely ate some crow with Hogak, because I remember when Hogak was first picking up steam, to be honest, people weren't really trying hard enough. You know, a lot of modern players did what they normally do. They were like, just add Surgical. Surgical's great, you guys. Right. And it was like, no, you bitches got to try. And then, you know, they did. They started running Ravenous Traps and Graph Digger's Cages and Nile Spell Bombs. They were main decking these, you know, and then it did get all the way to the point where people were running main deck Leyline of the Void, and Hogak was still putting up respectable results. So if we've exhausted all of the options and we are at that point, yes, I'm all for the bans at that point. But 1 week in, you bitches got to try. Like, that's all there is to it.
I think, see, the problem with that attitude with Companions is that it's an 8th card in the opening hand. So if I'm playing any card of my 7 in my opening hand to fight your Companion, I am expending a resource that you haven't had to expend, regardless of how expensive it is, if it's a Tormod's Crypt or whatever to deal with your Lurrus. So I'm starting with 6 and you're starting with 8, regardless of what we're actually doing. So it's still bad, because it's like mulliganing to 5 in a normal game of Magic.
As a Burn player know that still had all these is still very much a thing. You kill people all the time that are sitting there with 7 cards and think they have an advantage over you.
They certainly, that happens. It is not common.
You mentioned sort of the decision tree on the pre-show of, you know, Lurrus versus Mayhem Devil. You know, yeah, you can jam your Lurrus, but there are still play patterns that people need to figure out. Yeah. You can still have cards, and none of those cards can be any good. And I just think it needs time. I think 1 week in to be making the declarations that people are making is too soon.
Do I think they were a mistake in how they were designed? I think so. What has went around at this point is, what if you could just say, if you have a companion, after you do your mulligans, you have to put the card on the bottom, put the companion in your hand. That way,
was an
discard
interesting tweet.
Right.
I forget who tweeted it, but the idea was that it would be a London companion, where you keep your opener, put a card from your hand on the bottom,
and then put the
companion in your opening hand, so that it can be interacted with discard.
Right. Thoughtseize.
Someone also speculated that companion might have been introduced as a way to attract all of the commander players that have been coming out lately. You know, they've been bringing people out with command fests, and they've been, really trying to win over those commander players. And what better way to transition them from, one format to another than dangle this thing in front of them that looks a lot like a commander and comes with deck building restrictions like a commander does. And I thought that was fun to think about.
So, in today's loss of nuance on Twitter, Mark Rosewater at one point was replying to someone who said, let's see, someone had said, I find it kind of funny that the set was supposed to be Magic's first set designed for online play, made Magic Online not work. Gyruda, one of the companions, is broken, and they've actually banned it right now, so we don't know how busted that one is.
And Luris is still having issues.
Right. And Luris, has his own rules issues.
Or was.
And then someone's, and Mark Rosewater said, what are you talking about? And they said, well, I saw some replies and from other stuff, and, that this was a coincidence. And he said, well, this set wasn't designed in any way specifically for digital play any more than normal.
Oh, no.
Cue the previous designers at Wizards going,
Ryan
Spain, how can you say this? Do Dave Humpherys and Ian Duke agree? I sat in a room with all of Magic/Arena design in 2018 where we brainstormed MTG Best of One designing, which we saw the need for on Arena. 2 years later, we have Shredded Sails, which is basically three different modes.
3 modes,
which is incredible. And you denied digital design efforts. And then we kind of found an equilibrium, which is, no, they didn't sit there and go, let's make the set for Arena. But when they would do things like, let's have something get 1 of 10 random counters, they're okay with that now.
Crystalline Giant is a pretty easy nod. Like, it's very difficult to randomize 10 things.
Right.
Just with, you don't have a coin, most people don't walk around with a 10-sided die, myself notwithstanding. Some of us play clerics. But the point is that not everybody has a 10-sided die to make a 1 in 10, with your Crystalline Giant, which seems pretty clearly designed for Magic Online and Magic Arena, where that is automatic. Also keeping track of Yidaro, for example, where that's sort of an out-of-game thing where you have to count the number of times you've cycled the Dirtle Turtle. That's not a thing that's intuitive and typically goes with Magic. Those are designs that several years ago, certainly before Arena, would not have flown. It would not have probably worked. But now that we live in the current world, I think that they make a lot more sense in the context of most Magic, particularly now because we're all stuck inside, being played online.
Yeah, Ryan Spain was definitely not having it. I enjoyed this exchange a lot. And it's funny, when people leave Wizards of the Coast, other people assume that they're going to immediately go to their social media accounts and just spill the tea. And that's not how this works at all. You got to play the long game. Yep. But when they do finally decide to speak out, it is delicious. And
I've got
I've
got a Google alert on my computer set up for, let me look at the date, September 25th.
When Evan's NDA runs out.
Evan's NDA runs out.
But my favorite exchange in this is when Allison Steele, my friend, goes, I suspect a lot of that impression comes from the misinformation that people are spreading. And Ryan goes, I suspect a lot of that impression comes from reading the cards in the set. I died. Like, oh my God, this was just so delicious.
That's a great...
Ryan was not having it.
I suspect
it was
a lot
delightful.
of it comes from reading the cards in the set.
God. Oh my God, it was so good.
All right. Let's keep
That's some prime Magic Mike's material.
That's some sweet tea.
That's what I live for. Is when we get some of that. People, you can tell people are getting a little bit of that cabin fever.
Yes.
A little bit of that.
It's just not having it. No.
I got cabin fever too, and deciding to start stuff on Twitter because they got nothing
like the
better to
Ikoria
do.
trailer, just the two beasts.
Yeah, I can't get my hair cut. Might as well fight somebody.
I fight or fight, you know?
All right, so Lutri the Spell Chaser has been banned in Brawl. It was banned in Commander. Lutri in particular is this weird case of Wizards back in the day thought Fork was powerful, kept thinking it was powerful, thought that when they reprinted it in blue it would just change the world, did nothing. Fork kept being bad. They made Fork cheaper. They made Fork easier. They finally said, fine, we'll put a fork in your opening hand. And now finally we found where it's busted.
3/2 with Flash.
Yeah.
Like a 3-power Flash creature with Fork. Yeah.
Yeah, they finally said, look, we'll just give it to you in your opening hand. It's like, okay, guys, you broke it on that one.
Yeah.
And it is banned in that singleton format as well.
Yeah, I remember the week shortly after it came out at 5-0 to League. I think the trophy holder, it's probably changed, but at one point, the reigning trophy holder in Vintage was playing Lutri.
Yeah.
You haven't lived until you've played a Serum Visions with Lutri. Do you know when the last time someone played Serum Visions in Vintage was? Well, they're doing it now because when you play it with Lutri, it's actually quite good.
Well, half your deck is one-ofs anyway.
Yeah.
Like we might as if we're gonna copy our ancestral recalls and play our Black Lotus, our Lutris with Black Lotuses, we might as well have, bargain bin versions. We might as well have Ponder and Preordain and
then Underworld Breach to do it all again.
No, and some garbage alongside like Serum Visions, just to fill out the gaps.
Yeah.
Let's move on here to Gather the Townsfolk. Flash, the card, not the mechanic, is banned in Commander. This was a concession to competitive EDH players, as I understand it.
This has been a struggle for the Commander folks. I have a couple of friends who are on the Rules Council, and, Commander itself is kind of going through, a bit of some growing pains in terms of, what the format is and what people want for it. And, there is this divide between the CEDH and the regular EDH players and what's competitive and what's casual. And for the most part, it seems like the CEDH folks are very content to be kind of left alone. They want as few fingers in their pie as possible. But the post on the Commander website did say that, in collaboration with some CEDH players, they had acknowledged that there were some problems with their format or a problem, and that, kind of banning this one card would be the thing to solve that. And there'd been a lot of backlash around this card for the last, month or so. And I don't envy, the rules committee at all. Their mentions are trash a lot of the time. The Commander audience is very, passionate about their format. And they don't have an easy job. And so, if this is what they feel they need to do, I don't behoove them that. And they do say at the end, they have a really great message here that says, taking responsibility for your and your opponent's fun, including setting expectations with your group, is a fundamental part of the Commander philosophy. Organizers who want to move towards more untrusted games should consider adding additional rules or guidance to create the Commander experience they want to offer. And I thought that was a great way to cap off a really polarizing announcement like this, just reminding people what it should be about.
Like, we're here to have fun. Like, I'll be honest, it's still a little weird to me. We have an entire rules committee for something you're playing at your kitchen table.
I mean, as soon as you interact with a game and put prizes on the line, you're gonna attract people who want to win those prizes. Like, I'm sorry, this was a natural evolution, and so I'm glad that it's being addressed in the way that it's being addressed. This was always going to happen. Once Commander got monetized, once Commander was adopted by Wizards of the Coast, and it was officially sanctioned, not in the capital S, but like lowercase s, like we recognize that this is a thing, we're going to make side events. We're going to make, command fests. We're going to make things happen.
I think it also comes with how pushed the cards are too, where it's like, they're making cards specifically for Commander now, which a lot of people don't think is the best idea. Part of the joy of Commander used to be sort of finding those diamonds in the rough. And now you have these cards that are basically auto includes. And so, when the foot is on the pedal and you feel like you just have to play these cards, you do have to kind of remind people that it is a casual format, and that, while these are really good cards, what are you trying to win for? You know what I mean? Like, there are no prizes. There's nothing on the line. Why are you going this hard?
Right. And back when the rocks were soft and the cards were bad, it wasn't as big a deal. Whereas these days they just push everything super hard, and our uncommons look like rares, quite frankly. A bit of a update on the shutdown of things. Origins has been postponed until October 7th. So ideally, in Columbus in October, we will have ourselves an Origins.
Okay.
We'll see if that happens. In the Commander 2020 product, Wizard says that there will be fewer Ikoria Commander decks at launch. This is the Commander 2020 stuff than usual due to the printing slowdowns. Excuse me, and they will ramp printing back up once printers are back online. So if you see the prices go up on Commander, like basically so high that you're like, I'm out, trust me, they'll come back down. They'll print them again. They'll be there all through 2021, just like the 2019 were through the past 8 to 10 months. So you'll be able to get those, but they are super popular. They've been sold out basically everywhere. It's ridiculous.
Probably get some barrels of oil for Commander product.
My LEDs are worth more than oil nowadays.
Right.
It went into the negative. They had to pay people to store their oil. It was worth so little. That said, Good Guy Cardhoarder, a proud sponsor, a longtime sponsor of the show, who is terrific, noted that they're active members of their MTGO loan program experiencing hardship can request a free account, no questions asked.
Right.
We just extended the availability of this offering to May 15th. We're all in this together, and details here. There's a link in the show notes. There's a link in chat if you guys want to go check it out. And this is something they don't have to do, but yet they do. And that's awesome.
Sorry.
You got to stay sane, like we obviously there's a lot of talk about staying, physically healthy and not getting ill, but, we're all cooped up at home. We can't be with our friends, the paper games, not everybody has the ability to host those with the webcams are sold out everywhere. Microphones are harder to come by. And so, Magic Online is a great option right now. And, it would suck to have to miss out on that because you got laid off. A lot of people have been laid off or are not getting income. And so, this is a way to keep your head above water and still do something you love to do, which you should be allowed to do. You shouldn't, it's something everyone, it's not something you should lose because of this.
Right.
You deserve nice things.
A bit of splash damage, but kind of it's around the same topic. The San Diego Comic-Con.
Yes.
I thought you were talking about the other guy.
No. The San Diego Comic-Con has been canceled for this year.
Canceled.
That is huge.
That is a huge. No,
Oh.
not in the 50-year history of San Diego Comic-Con has the event actually been canceled for the year. They announced that a bunch of, everyone who has passes, because you get your passes like a year ahead of time, will be honored through the next year. Hotels, because you get your hotels like a year ahead of time, will be honored the next year. But a lot of people in our industry and adjacent industries make the majority of their income at San Diego Comic-Con.
Wow.
And so this is a huge blow. I mean, it needed to happen because there is no sea of humanity greater than, as far as I'm aware, than that junction where the Jesus people are on the corner by the trolley when you're crossing over. Does everybody know? Everybody been to Comic-Con? It's right there where the Good Place house is, with the fish, the fish restaurant.
Yeah, that fish place is great.
That fish place is great, but it's solid people as far as the eye can see when you're standing there, except for next to the Jesus people because they got a loudspeaker.
And I think I saw that PAX is still going on. Like they had posted a tweet or something saying we still hope to see everybody, and it was like, ooh.
So that was early. That's in early September. SDCC was in late July. The next shoe to drop has to be Gen Con.
Gen Con.
It has to be Gen Con.
I would be.
There has
shocked.
not been a Gen Con I've ever not gotten sick at.
Yeah. That's the thing about conventions is all the convention circuit is going to be, no Dragon Con, no Otakon, no ECCC, none of that, because everyone gets the con crud like it's a joke, right? You get home and you're a little sniffly. This ain't no joke. You're gonna get whatever it is. So you need to have these solutions in place, and you're just not going to have conventions until 2021. Like really, like realistically, you're just not. And so if Gen Con, I would be shocked if Gen Con goes.
And the real killer...
Milwaukee is known for various festivals on the lakefront. We have Summerfest and Irish Fest and Pride Fest, and one by one, those have all been canceled. I know Summerfest got pushed back to September. Even that's kind of dubious, but Pride is being... New York City Pride got canceled too. Like, I mean, the list of cancellations just keeps going on and on.
Yeah, I mean, there's not going to be a Magic Fest Vegas, almost certainly. I don't think there's going to be a Magic Fest the rest of this year.
Fests?
Yeah, I would be kind of surprised. The governor of California has said that large events aren't going to happen until 2021.
Oh my God.
The LARPers that I LARP with, which are events that are about 400 people outside, we think it's like 50-50 to happen in August. Like everything's it's just, this is the world right now. None of us lived through the Spanish flu epidemic of 1918, but this is like following a very similar timeline where you just need to keep, to borrow an Aaronism, you need to keep the foot on the neck of the disease. It's a weird usage of the phrase. God. I know. Listen, I know this is Maine, but I needed to you can't take the foot off the neck of the disease. I know this is a weird place that I've gone with this now, but you like,
is the disease also a snack?
Let me cut to the bottom of the page. We just can't have big events. Like it's just not going to happen.
Go straight to the bottom.
At the end of the day, even if they said the big events are happening, who wants to go? Who wants to expose themselves and their loved ones and their family members? Like, what are we doing here? Like, that's crazy. One happy note here. Carlos Romao noted that they would like to thank Wizards for...
You can't just breeze over that.
No, it's terrific. For fulfilling... Are we talking about the jail thing?
Yes.
I don't want to talk about that. What good's going to come out of this?
Fine.
What happened?
There's a link in there.
No,
go check
I see.
You've upset Ruben.
No, I don't.
Yeah, right. Well, either way, Good Guy Wizards fulfilled their part of the MPL contract, even though they cannot fulfill the players' part of it. This is a great gesture and shows the company concern with the ones under their care. The staff made it happen, and I want to congratulate them too. So somebody at Wizards had to champion this idea that really the pros are going to get their money from their contract regardless of the fact they couldn't show up, and that is huge, and kudos to Wizards. We certainly hand it to them when they do something we don't like. So this is great. You did a good job.
Another nice thing I want to touch on is Magali. Magali had posted an update and said that she had COVID.
Right.
And that she'd been sick for like 2 weeks. She couldn't work at all. And she wanted to thank everybody for being understanding. And she gave a little bit of background as to how she thinks she got sick. And she just, again, politely asking people to stay at home, be safe, and just a treasure in Magic. And we're glad to hear that she's okay.
Yeah, Magali, get well. I hope she did. She's recovering nicely.
So just as a PSA, so that we can say it, don't go to Kitchen Table Games in Tampa Bay, Florida, because their store owner was arrested for opening their store.
Did you see the Facebook post that he posted afterwards?
Was it some Bob's Dugout stuff?
It was like he's a patriot, all this stuff. It was like, oh girl, like go finish your article, Chad.
This is some fire and dice stuff.
Wow. Okay. Well,
add him to the Mount Rushmore of great LGSs.
Old things coming back around once again. Channel Fireball announced CFB Pro.
Ooh,
you're so petty.
What a unique. Yeah.
Have you noticed?
Of course, I'm going to be petty.
Have you noticed that Evan's been emphasizing the free in his tweets, advertising cool stuff? Yep. That's not a coincidence.
That is a competitive advantage that Cool Stuff has. We bring you that content for free. I'm going to point it out.
Look at that. Channel Fireball, a platinum level pro.
Yeah, so this is interesting. So they are putting their whole site behind a paywall, specifically beloved content like LSV does his set reviews. Right. You're now going to have to pay to see those. Some things that stood out to me about this is LSV did say that they are aiming to have content for all formats. That includes Legacy and Vintage, which I'm really, really excited about. And for the first time, I don't know, I think SCG might have done this, but you're getting store credit.
I don't think SCG's ever done anything like this. That I can recall. They did things like you get maybe like discounts or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, this is like a similar playbook to a lot of companies across a number of different industries where they start out, offering a service for free, and then once they get enough of an audience, they're like, all right, we're popular. time to up the price. This has happened with Patreon, for example.
Sure.
You know, where as soon as they've got you hooked, it's like, you know, Facebook didn't have ads for the first 3 years of its existence. Then it put ads on once it had, you know, 10 billion users.
Sure.
So it's always interesting to me to see that this is controversial. Like looking at the replies to this, people were outraged, and you know, people deserve to be paid for their work. And if you don't like the work, then you know, you don't have to see that. I guess my only concern I have is as long as the work is quality, you know, like if you're going to charge for like Martin Yuza saying I brushed my hair today, that's not good. But like, you know, if you're going to give me like in-depth, like hard hitting, going, you know, giving me like good content, I will absolutely pay for that. And so
you get what you pay for. The same with SEG. If you're paying for content, if it's worth it, or supporting your, you know, individual person, and you're paying their Patreon to get their sideboard guides, like if you are paying money for goods and services, like I'm fine with it. Again, I'm just making fun of Channel Fireball because they were always like, "Oh, we're the anti-SCG. We're never going to do it."
Yeah,
I'm not against the premise. I'm just against what I perceive to be a little bit of hypocrisy with what the original mission statement was.
I don't blame them as much, especially with the pandemic going on now. You know, we've seen that their warehouse has been shut down along with Card Kingdom. You know, these guys are not vending at events. CFB was one of the more prominent vendors that you would see. They're not hosting any in-store events. And so I completely understand having to recoup that income. I just think that if you are going to cross that threshold into charging people, your content needs to step up to make it worth paying for, is all I'm sure.
And I'm sure, look, Channel Fireball, for my money, has always had the competitive edge, right? They always prioritized, or had up until like the last year and a half, they'd always prioritized the pros,
right?
Platinum
Channel
pros.
Fireball, like the uber elite group of whatever,
right? So if they're providing that competitive advantage, sure.
Well, look, all I know is like they did some clever things. They're giving you store credit with one of the tiers of sponsorship. They give you a free entry into the PTQ stuff that they do, which is, you know, cost them $0, but it gives them the ability to have a carrot to offer you to incentivize you. So I get all that marketing stuff. High five. That's great. But, you know, at the same time, you know, CSI, A, still open for business, B, still buying cards, and C, that content is free, and we put a bunch of money in that content, I assure you.
I tried sending my boyfriend there to buy cards, and y'all were sold out of just about everything.
It's tough to find cards right now. It turns out that when you don't go to an event every weekend or every other weekend, it's
when
hard
you don't
to keep
send out the
things in stock.
vacuum hose, sometimes
It's tough. And so, like, one of the things I'm actually working on right now is a strategy to get more buys into the site, because, you know, we got to have the fuel to keep the engine running.
I agree. I also think more buys should be on site.
Wow.
Wow.
Gosh.
Aaron, this is the everyone trying to be not on main episode of the show.
Magic Arena released their State of the Game for April. A few things, like, for example, they have the Godzilla Monster Series card types, the alternate art frames that you can get. And one thing here, Wizards, I really can't search by the Godzilla name. I have to search by the Polywog whatever. No, it's Baby Godzilla. That's all I know of it. That's how I play it. That's how I've seen it. And I didn't
know like half of the cards' names. All I know is that it's Mecha Godzilla.
Right.
All I know is that it's Doom Inevitable. Like, I don't know what the cards' real names are.
Right. Absolutely.
I call it the Great Cocoon. I think it's an egg. But
well, the biggest thing that Wizards has added to Arena in quite some time is player drafts. And let me tell you, I'm never drafting against the bots unless I absolutely have to, because this feels great. People, some of them just have no idea what's going on. You get to take advantage of that. Some people are really good at sending you signals. You can take advantage of that. It's awesome. They give you 2 free entries. You can go play 2 free beta drafts or 2 free player drafts right now for free. Just log in and go try it out. Pick a wedge and just go for it. Find something that's good and powerful in the wedge that you prefer the most, red, white, black, or green, black, blue, and just draft those cards. The card quality of Ikoria is so high.
Oh my gosh.
You don't have to try that hard. Like, all the cards are good. Almost all of them are just, there's nothing that's just garbage. There's nothing that's squire. There's just nothing that's bad. Either way, player drafts were absolutely terrific. Let's see here.
Shout out to Wedge.
Shout out to Wedge.
Wedges.
There you go. Let's see here. And they made some card UI improvements because you have the tokens and stuff. Whatever. Magic Fest in a box looks to be available in Canada, Brazil, Japan, and Europe.
Nice.
Which is cool.
Okay.
This is one of those things where, like, I do think it is very possible we don't have any Magic Fest for the rest of the year.
Oh, yeah.
This may be the only chance to get some of these promo items yourself while they're around.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have a Magic Fest for the rest of the year. I would be pretty surprised.
Yeah, that's at cfbevents.com/magicfestbox if you're interested in that. There was a State of Magic Online article that went up, and let me tell you, I think the big part about it is that Magic Online is crushing it right now.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Just absolutely crushing it.
Yeah, there were some really, really nice changes here. Apologies for the engine. It's sort of nice out, so people are driving tonight.
Sure.
So a lot of really nice changes came out in this update. The big important ones are that they are now offering qualifier points for going 3 and 2 in a league. Prior to this, you could only get them if you went 4 and 1 or better, which is kind of hard to do. There were some really, really good players on Magic Online, and so it definitely felt a little bad to, not do as well in the league and have nothing to show for it. So that's a really cool change. They were a little concerned about flooding the the audience with qualifier points and worried about what that would do, and then they realized that it's fine. So that's a really nice change. More importantly, they are replacing so the showcase events. They have these things called showcase events, which you can spend those qualifier points on.
Okay.
And one thing that I felt very strongly about was there wasn't a vintage showcase. Vintage was the only format that didn't have one. There was a limited one, a pauper one, a standard one, and we did not have one. Many of us have been very vocal about that on Twitter, respectfully, of course. And Magic Online listened to us. And for the second season, because Magic Online is divided into seasons, we are replacing our showcase they're replacing the pauper showcase with vintage.
Cool.
And so for all of season 2, we have vintage showcases now. So it's got me back in the format. I started playing vintage again. It's my understanding that pauper will be coming back for seasons 3 and 4. So you're going to be fine. You're going to get your events, but it's our turn. And so I'm really excited to have something to spend my qualifier points on. I'm excited to have more opportunities to earn qualifier points. And so they've also given us challenges on Saturday and Sunday now. So if you can't make one day's challenge, you can now play the next days. Better time zones for people. The vintage challenge on Sunday is like 2 a.m. Central Time. But if you happen to be in like China or Italy, you have better chances to play. And so a lot of really good changes has definitely got me back into Magic and Magic Online. And good on them.
Nice. Well,
I've heard that pauper is kind of garbage right now.
I mean, it's being garbage.
Wow. And the Maverick girl is right there. She's right. Kendra's right there. You
Kendra,
don't have to.
Kendra rated us. I'm sure that
She rated us, and here we are talking smack.
If we ask, I'm sure she would be more than happy to tell us that it's bad.
Oh no,
that's true. And also too, speaking of one other thing Magic Online is working on, they did allude to the fact that they do want to make it a little bit more friendlier to Commander. They said that they obviously can't reinvent the wheel, but they are looking to add some quality of life improvements. So I think that's great.
Oh, that's nice. Well, to help out those who are in need right now and to be a part of Magic history, omaze.com, which is supporting the relief efforts going on right now, allows you to get into a drawing to design your own Magic the Gathering card at Wizards of the Coast HQ.
Cool.
You and your friend will create your own Magic card for an upcoming product with head designer Mark Rosewater, brainstorm its mechanics, creative and balance, which is pretty cool. You'll get a behind-the-scenes tour of the Magic Design Studio, play a top-secret game against world-class designers on an unreleased product. You get to sign all the NDAs for that one.
Sure.
And you get flown out and host to Seattle and put up in a 4-star hotel. And this helps out Make-A-Wish, the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah.
But it still has to be run through R&D. I think Maro said that you
course.
can't do anything too broken. So there goes my dream of a Dredge 10 card. But
well, I mean, look at all these cards they just printed. Like it's not,
but
gonna be
I'm
that
absolutely
tough.
going to do this. Obviously, it's for a great cause, and you also possibly get an in to see how the cards are made. So I'm on the website right now. I'm gonna go ahead and drop a little donation here, and
nice.
Fingers crossed.
Omaze, they do stuff with all kinds of celebrities, like get interviewed on The Daily Show or have a meeting with your favorite author, kind of things like this, where they work with the Make-A-Wish Foundation and give away really cool experiences like this one. So a couple of things. One is this is a really cool opportunity. I highly recommend that if you have the ability to do so, that you go ahead and donate and sign up for that. The second is Magic. This is like a ubiquitous thing. This Omaze thing where you can go hang out with your favorite actor for the day or race around the track with your favorite NASCAR driver. But now you can like Magic's big enough that designing a Magic card is just a generic enough prize, which is kind of great.
No, that's awesome. Speaking of great things, bringing up on the screen here, designedbyhumans.com has some Magic the Gathering t-shirts, and these are super dope.
Yeah, I have a tab open right now. There's a Liliana one that says, "Why serve the living when you can rule the dead?"
Ooh,
just put that in my mailbox. Like, yeah.
There you go.
Like
super duper cool.
I like this like hard rock Nicol Bolas.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's some cool stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say just about every Magic t-shirt I've ever purchased, whether it be through the Pro Shop or at GPs, has always been really well made. Like they've lasted a long time. I still have the Liliana one that had the kind of the Day of the Dead look to it. I've put that thing through the ringer for years and it's still going strong. And so, say what you will about, card design or events or things like that, but they do close pretty well.
There you go. Let's move on here to Desperate Ravens, and particular the Secret Lair Ultimate Edition Roundup. The stores have been listing these for anywhere from, I've heard 240-ish, I've heard 375 to 400-ish at times.
Okay.
God, the ratios.
It got a little crazy. So at one point, essentially, SCG had put up a pre-order for the set for $350.
Now it's down to $332.49, I believe.
No, that's with their SCG premium.
Oh.
So and apparently, as I understand, they've sold out of those. If you think about it being $350, that's what, $70 a card. They're not foil. I think I said they're foil last time we were on the show, and that was wrong.
God, these are flags.
It's rough. It's rough. This is just one of those, I don't think my $400 card should be $400. It should be $200. Like it kind of is what it is. We're in a very luxury brand type of product where
you don't need this product. Like you can go and buy the regular Zendikars and you'll be fine. Like
there are people out there who want every single Magic card ever made. There are people who want to create cycles and to complete them or whatever, and they collect things, they collect lands, they like fetch lands, whatever the reason may be. The market is bearing a $350 plus price, and that's what they're going to set it at.
Right.
It's the same outrage we've seen with the secret layers or even some of the collector items. People would get mad that the website didn't work, and then they'd be back the next time around hoping the website works. And it's like, if you're going to keep paying this, they're going to keep offering it, and they're going to keep jacking up the price, and the market takes what it can bear.
And right. And the other side of this is that this does help out stores to have this type of markup even exist.
Right. Yeah.
Because this is the one that's run through stores. Stores are getting these copies and they're selling them directly. Wizards isn't getting all the cash this time.
Yeah.
And so that's a great thing.
Yeah.
So I want to encourage that and note that just like, yes, did it make me laugh when I was like, oh my God, this thing's $350? But like, this is Magic, man. There's some expensive crap in this game, and we just kind of got to get used to it.
Yeah, and like we said, these stores, SCG and other, they're not running events, they're not vending, they're not making a lot of money the way they traditionally would. And so, if CFB has to put up a paywall and SCG has to, bump up the price to keep the lights on, I get it. Like, just look around.
It just kind of, again, we're in luxury Productville, so it is what it is. Another note on Cardhoarder, again, awesome sponsor of the channel here. They just increased their event ticket purchase price to 97 cents each. I've never seen it this high ever.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where they will buy event tickets from you for cash at 97 cents each. That is an incredible rate. I think I've seen 96. I don't think I've literally ever seen 97. That is a sign of an incredibly healthy Magic Online economy. The digital versions of Magic and the fact that you can't play Modern anywhere else unless you're on Magic Online, can't play Legacy, can't play Vintage, can barely play Commander, so that platform is doing incredibly well.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's see here. We're almost wrapping up. We have a little tiny bit of splash.
Gotta talk about Bernie.
Got to talk about the burn.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Out
What
of
was
no-
this?
I was not expecting of all
You
the things.
feeling the mono red burn, the Luris burn. You feeling
I
the
thought I
burn?
was dreaming when I saw this. I was like, am I seeing this? Like,
6 days ago on April 16th, Bernie Sanders himself tweeted that he supported SEIU 200 United and TCG player warehouse workers work to organize a union. Now more than ever, workers need a union contract to protect their wages, benefits, and safety on the job. So, yeah, that was
Enter Sandman.
amazing.
It's a heck of a thing to just step into. Everyone was like, "Oh man, Bernie plays Magic. What are you playing, Bernie? What's your commander?"
yeah.
And obviously he doesn't play Magic. But this was a bit of a firestorm for like 12 hours a week ago.
Well, here's the real part about it, was that the other half of this is that just so happens on the same day, TCG Player announced that they're raising wages to minimum of $15 up to $17.50. They are providing things like 100% company paid dental insurance, unlimited paid time off, 100% company paid family leave.
That's what happens when the Eye of Sauron turns towards your company.
They're like, Bernie, please.
Here.
Give everyone extra money, quick.
Okay,
and then the Eye of Sauron turns away, and then they can be like, "Oh, thank God we didn't get dragged on Reddit."
Please, Sander, don't hurt me.
Right. So note that the U word, union, is nowhere in this TCGplayer.com announcement.
Sure.
This
You see
is
that they also changed their website? They're now like TCG Player Infinite now.
okay. Is that a
Yeah,
brand
so they
thing
changed
they're
their
doing?
article hub and revamped it a little bit.
Oh, that's
true?
weird.
Weird.
Fair enough.
Wow, what is this website now?
It's interesting. Other websites seem to be kind of downsizing their content creation, and they've just taken on a whole bunch of new talent lately. So I wish them all well.
Fair enough.
I don't know what this website is doing anymore. TCG Player.
I won't get into a lot of the CMON stuff. We were talking about CMON stopped being traded. I believe it's on the Hong Kong stock market.
Okay.
Essentially, they may have some money issues.
Okay.
What's a CMON?
CMON is a board game publisher. They publish lots and lots
Aaron,
of games.
this is Maine. You can't just ask what CMON is.
Oh my God.
I was trying so hard.
I was not.
They run very, very successful Kickstarters. They've had multi-million-dollar Kickstarters for many, many years. They've sort of one of those companies that have sort of literally just been brought out of crowdfunding, and that's why they exist. And so there's talk of lots of backstock. They have tons of backstop, millions of dollars of products sitting around places. There's financial things that are like not adding up, and where's the money? There's the questions of are new Kickstarters paying for old Kickstarters type thing? Are they getting into that cycle? It could get pretty.
We need
rough.
to move on from this topic.
Okay.
I did too many jokes. I can't. I'm just.
It's the wholesome one tonight, just so you know.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Evan.
Just for those who know, CMON is named that way because it began as Cool Mini or Not, and that was CMON, and they just decided to rebrand the company. Okay, we're gonna move on, you children. God,
Started it.
There's a problem with CMON backup.
I hope they don't flood the markets.
My God, you freaking. All right. Well, we turn the corner here to the finisher. It's a companion's world. We're just living in it. A deck's new best friend is all the rage these days, as the honeymoon phase of Magic's newest broken mechanic hasn't worn off yet. We all expect Garuda, Gigantha, Kahira, Garuga, Luris, Lutri, Obosh, Umori, Yorion, and Zerda to be the bee's knees until they rotate or find a banning in basically every format they're played in. But tell me, if you were a companion, what would your card do? Ruben?
Mine would cost a colorless red for a 3/3 with haste and first strike that must attack each turn if able, whose requirement is that the total costs of cards in your deck, the total costs of cards in your starting deck has to be less than 60 mana or less than $60. And that is Ruby Red Roustabout.
Oh, that's fitting.
Nice. Aaron?
All right. Well, mine would be a 0-0 for 1 blue-black green with Dredge 3 that says at the start of the game, you can put Estrus from your sideboard into your graveyard. And then the deck building requirement is that every non-land card in your deck has to have an ability that functions from somewhere outside of play. And its name, Estrus Dredging Witchface. Just
Dredging Witch Face. Oh my god.
I'm telling you, a face mask and resting bitch face is just a deadly combination.
Wow. Mine is a 2/2 for 1 generic and white, so 3 mana total for a 2/2 with Companion, where every non-land card in your deck has to be able to produce a token or a counter, and when it enters the battlefield, you fabricate, proliferate, and populate. Its name, Evan, Gatherer of Magics.
Somebody in Twitch chat was like, you could pronounce all those companion names, but you couldn't say Calliope?
To be fair, the companion names are spelled like they
fairly
sound.
phonetic. They're pretty phonetic.
Yeah.
I'm Southern, leave me alone. But that ends another live episode of CMON. Another live episode of Magic Mike's.
I mean, the CMON better be live.
Jeez. Thanks for joining us here to discuss all things Magic. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you for having me, and stay safe, everybody.
Thank you, Ruben.
Evan, this is Maine.
It's Maine. A lot of times it's Maine. Not gonna lie. We're to our final slide. I want to thank our sponsor, CoolStuffInc.com, our co-sponsor, Cardhoarder.com, my co-hosts, Aaron Campbell and Ruben Bressler, you guys for watching or listening, and hope you support us at patreon.com/magicmics. Please follow, like, tweet, favorite, share, subscribe to everything social that tells people we exist. Catch us online on our Discord, twitch.tv at Magic Mics, on Twitter at Magic Mics Cast, our Magic Mics subreddit, and like the Magic Mics page on Facebook. Talk to us privately at magicmicspodcast@gmail.com. Follow the audio-only podcast at magicmicspodcast.libsyn.com, or find us on iTunes or Spotify, or just join us here next week, same time, same place, for another episode of Magic Mics. Good night, everybody.